Hey, welcome to Clarksville Vibe the show where we tell the stories of the people of Clarksville who make this place the best place to live in America. Hey, I'm your host, Kevin Kennedy Jr., local pediatric dentist, native to Clarksville. Love it with all my heart. We got a great show planned for you today. Hey, I am absolutely blown away with the increase in engagement that we've been seeing recently. You know, we've not been doing this very long, just a month or so, maybe 2 months by the time that this airs, and our engagement just continues to grow, which just tells us that people are really eager to hear the positive message of Clarksville, to hear from people who make this place great, who are moving us forward, pioneering new paths, and I feel like today's episode is definitely one of those. I got a special guest for you, social media sensation in the food groups. You're going to be excited to hear his story, how he went from operating kind of a home-based food business to now opening his brand new brick and mortar that many of us in the online space, the digital world that follow Clarksville's food scene have been really widely anticipating. Andrew Duenas of Camacho's famous. We're so glad to have him here, man. Thank you so much for joining in and jumping on to tell us your story.
Definitely. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, people... What's interesting, and we'll get into this, is I feel like some people feel like they know you, just because the internet brings and connects people together, but we don't know all of your story, and so we're going to jump into that. I'm real thrilled to be able to do that. Let's jump right in and talk a little bit about Clarksville, because you came here for the military, correct? And you got out a few years ago and have transitioned into the civilian world, and then we got to just know, like, what happened on Facebook, and how do you feel like your story just kind of blew up?
Well, I mean, it's a remarkable story, to be honest with you. I mean, really what kind of started it was my dad actually did own a pizza place back in California in 2008. And that was when the market kind of crashed, and it was just not a good time to start a business. So it kind of shut down. But that was my dad's dream, and he's always kind of wanted to redo it. But when I came out here to Clarksville, I just kind of saw the opportunity that there was, and I kept calling my dad and said, "Hey, come out here, come to Clarksville. Yeah. It's so much opportunity." And finally, he decided to move out here. And in 2020, towards the end of the year, when COVID was happening. We decided let's just make some pizza, go outside and pass some samples out and see what people think. And no one wanted to take a sample. Seriously. But I mean, think about it.
This is like in your neighborhood?
In my neighborhood. Okay. But everyone's like, why is this guy out in this driveway selling pizza? I'm like, it was really awkward, I'm sure, for them. But someone got a piece, went to Facebook and to the Clarksville and surrounding areas food scene page and posted a review. And pretty much from that moment, I had people messaging asking, hey, how can I order it? And then, I mean, it just turned into a pizza lottery, and it just took off from there. I mean, just from that food page, it was insane.
A couple of things you just said that I think are fantastic is you saw the opportunity that's here. Definitely. Locally in this town, enough to say to your dad, hey, you should consider this place as a place to plant your flag, and who knows what we make out of it. But I do feel like that's a consistent theme that we hear about Clarksville, is that, things are just on the up and up, and things are moving in quite the positive direction. The other thing is, I had no idea that your first attempt was a bust, right? Which I think is so powerful to people who are trying new things and who are, maybe taking that step and stepping out of fear a little bit into something, because kind of like launching a podcast, you throw it out there and you're like, does anybody even care? Does anybody listen to this thing? Is anybody going to want this pizza? Is anybody going to want to try this? Whatever it is anybody going to want me to take photos of their family? And it's never without failure, but it's that courage to continue. I think that's awesome. It's a huge part because of telling your story, and I hope you don't ever stop telling that aspect of it, because there's somebody out there we know right now who's trying something new and is facing a big challenge.
Definitely.
And they made, I don't know how many pizzas you made, but you probably lost money on it at that first time, and you're like, oh, I should never do this again. And if you hadn't pushed through that, you wouldn't see the benefit of what you're experiencing now. I think that's cool. That's cool to share that story. So yeah, the Clarksville surrounding areas food scene group, like 20-something thousand members.
20,000 members. I think when we joined back in early 2020 or late 2020, it had about maybe 8,000 members, and it just has grown.
Just ballooned.
I mean, the food scene in Clarksville is just amazing. I've never been in a city or town where it was so involved and people actually supported home cooks.
Yes.
A lot of times people are just sketched out about those people, and they just avoid them all together. But these people in Clarksville, they support their home cooks. It's amazing.
So you mentioned the pizza lottery. Tell me, like, At what point did you know, hey, I could do this and make something fun out of it?
Well, honestly, probably after maybe the third week of me posting on Wednesday at 12 p.m., it just ended up being Wednesday at 12 p.m. was the time that I was available to post.
Okay.
Every week.
So it wasn't strategic.
It wasn't strategic at all.
Hilarious.
No, I was only available at this time every Wednesday. So I'm like, let me do it at that time.
Yeah.
And people began realizing that it was at that same time every day. And they would just, whether they be at work or home, just waiting by computer at 11:59 so they could just put their order in.
Yeah.
But it was...
that is classic because, we've actually never met until right now.
Right.
But knowing, your story, I thought, man, this was the most strategic marketing decision ever. Like to post, I'm going to have these minis at the same time on this day. Like he knew it was going to blow up. And here we are thinking, no, it's just when I was available.
Definitely.
It's just how it works.
It was, honestly, we were just beyond blessed to have that happen.
Sure.
I've never seen anything like that happen to anyone else, but to be that person to happened to was, it's every day I wake up and I thank God for what happened.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That's awesome. So eventually that kind of had to change, right? You got so big, so famous. I am curious, what was that process like when you kind of got notified of, hey, we're happy for you. You're doing great things, but you can't really do this anymore.
Well, so I guess I kind of realized maybe, after we got pretty big, people were starting to say, you're not really able to sell this kind of stuff from the house.
Yeah.
And I kind of just had to take it slow, but obviously it just didn't happen. The way we were selling and the amount of people that wanted pizza, it was just so hard for us to keep it low.
Sure.
That even Clarksville now found out about it, and then it just caught the health department's inspection eye, and they were just.
Yeah. So you get a letter, you get a phone call?
Well, honestly, they came to the door, knocked on the door and said, hey, are you Andrew? I said, yes, sir. And they were like, what they were very respectful. They were like, honestly, what you're doing is amazing. However, it's illegal. You have to do it from a commercial kitchen.
Yeah.
Which I totally understand and respect. But they were respectful about it. They're excited now to see
knock
where
on
I'm
the
at.
door.
Yeah, knock on the door. Exactly.
That's cool. I've kind of envisioned this, like, what does it look like? Because my wife, she honestly makes the best cupcakes in town, hands down. Does it kind of out of our home as a hobby. She doesn't necessarily do it as a business or anything like that, and doesn't do it very often. But I had that same thought of, okay, what if we actually legitimized this at some point? What does that process look like? And what if the health department ever contacted me and said, hey, you can't sell cupcakes out of your house or something like that? I've always wondered what the process was. But like your pizzas, her cupcakes are phenomenal. So I'll have to get you to try some sometime. I'd love to. That's awesome. Well, so tell me about the name Camachos. So, if anyone's followed you on social media, I think they know where it came from, but random person has no idea. So tell me, where did that name come from?
Sure. So Camachos is actually my dad's last name.
Cool. His
name's John Camacho. He obviously means a lot to me. He he's my stepdad, but he raised me since the day I was born. So I love him. I respect him tremendously. And he actually helped me when we were doing it from the home. He was there on the
grinding
away with me. Same with my wife. So
did you know how to make these pizzas before he came here, or did he kind of teach you everything?
No, he definitely taught me pretty much everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's pretty much a genius in that kitchen.
Yeah,
definitely.
That's amazing. And so is he still helping you out now?
Yes, he'll help me out. He's going to be the head cook at Camacho.
Okay.
So,
so if you're in when it's open, look for John.
Yeah, look for John.
The guy behind the story.
Definitely.
That's cool. That's awesome. So, one of the things that I hear that's a big challenge for people, and I know you've had to overcome this challenge of moving from a home-based business to now brick and mortar, is financing, right? How do you make this happen? Like, there's a reason that, some of these brick and mortar places kind of they have to have their territory respected because they've invested so much capital into getting open. But, how did you learn about that? Where did you get your information to figure out, how can I make this dream possible?
Well, that's a great question. Honestly, it all kind of fell in my lap because of how blessed we were with that pizza lottery.
Yeah.
So once I kind of saw that the opportunity was there, I pretty much just had to go for it. I mean, I didn't really know how to do any of that, kind of running a kitchen or getting or getting a commercial loan, especially being a new business in today's age. It's very hard.
Very hard.
You have to be in business for 2 years.
So you cold calling banks and
I was
just
cold
saying,
calling
hey,
banks,
that's awesome.
sending my business plans. And then I found a local nonprofit lender who was willing to help and believed in the business and believed in the business plan. And I mean, it's been amazing. Everything has just fallen into place. And it's just awesome for us.
Yeah, that's cool. So construction is not easy these days.
No.
Right?
No.
People have no idea. You know, random people have no idea. You're like, you should be open in 3 months. You know, that's how long it took, you know, so-and-so to get open 2 years ago.
Right.
Like, that just ain't the world that we live in today. So what's been your biggest challenge with construction?
Well, the biggest challenge, I mean, the people who did the build out they did a tremendous job. They made Camachos look awesome. I can't wait for everybody to see it. Yeah. But I think the biggest challenge was obviously just being in the time that we were in with COVID, and then it just had everything delayed. And then also on top of that, Clarksville is growing so much right now that the builders are just busy. I mean, they're being stretched thin.
That's right.
So it's just the growth that's going on, and COVID and all that kind of stuff just kind of put a dent in it. But we're almost done. Almost ready.
That's awesome. Well, we're super happy for you. It's, you know, late May as we're recording this, and we'll probably push it out, you know, whenever you tell me to, but after you're open, and, you know, that way whoever, you know, hears about this and hears the Camacho story, you can go get that pizza tonight or today. I don't know what time you're listening, but go get it today, help them out. So, you know, in terms of the one location pizza shop, kind of specialty pizza environment that you're operating in, what's one thing you kind of wish the general public understood more about your business?
You know, I think the general public kind of understands our business pretty well, honestly. I think the thing is that they don't really know what goes on behind the scenes a lot. So they're kind of, like you said earlier, what's taking so long? Why is, you know, there's a lot of speculation going on why we're not open just yet. But it's just because it's just so hard opening a business without knowing it much. So that's pretty much what's going on behind the scenes that the general public does not know. But other than that, I mean, they really kind of know what we're going to do, what we are, and I think most people are excited. Yeah. Most people that have heard of us kind of already know what we're going to be.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I hear from restaurant people, food industry people is, you know, I wish the general public understood that feedback is critical to us, but there's helpful ways to give feedback, and then there's destructive ways to give feedback. No, you know, definitely. And we live in a world where, you know, you kind of live by social media. You're evidence of that. You blow up with social media. And on the flip side, there are people who've been torn down by it. And so, you know, I hope that as our town continues to embrace this really cool food scene that we have developing, that people understand that feedback is critical. You want to know how you can continue to improve.
Definitely.
But it's best for you to know that.
Definitely.
And not, you know, the whole internet all at once, you know.
Definitely.
Let you take your licks and lumps, and those things will come with opening a new business. That's one thing that I hear consistently. And you know, I'm a dentist. I see kids. It's kind of the same thing. You know, everyone has the opportunity for their voice to be spread really fast. And sometimes negative attention draws and spreads faster. And, you know, it's nice for people to care enough about you as a person, care enough about your business enough to pull you to the side and say, hey, I had this expectation. You didn't quite meet it in this way. Just want to let you know. We'll be back. We're going to come back again and give you another opportunity. But I wanted to let you know, that kind of feedback is what we really thrive on. I think what's really huge for us. Well, we were talking, kind of prepping for this episode, and I asked you, what's some of the things that you've kind of learned in this process? And you mentioned the principle of not letting people kind of back you up into thinking smaller. What does that mean?
Well, to me, that basically means, if you have a dream or a goal and someone comes up to you and then basically says, I think that might just not be obtainable. Maybe you might want to just take a step back and go for something a little bit smaller. I don't think you should do that.
Yeah.
And the reason I think that is because you're just going to limit yourself. And I had people when I was coming up with Camacho saying that, the space that I was going to rent was too big, or the style that I was going for was just too much.
Yeah.
We should just do a pick up and go type thing. But I told myself, with this opportunity that we have, you just have to jump head first in it, because otherwise, if we just start something small, what if we never grow? What if we're never able to expand? But I think I just in this instance, basically, I had to just go with what was there.
It's a mindset change.
Correct.
It's an abundance mindset that there's enough positive momentum available to us that we're not going to get stuck in this negative thinking. Correct. And I mean, I'm talking to people like you on these shows, people who are making positive change in Clarksville, and a lot of us think like that. So I think that's cool that you mentioned that. So tell me a little bit about this. When people come into the new facility, see, feel, smell, what do you want them to experience? What's your dream for the interior feel of Camacho's?
Well, I definitely want people to feel in warm and welcome environments.
Yeah.
You know, we definitely will have like a bars, but I don't want to be known as a sports bar.
Sure.
You know, I don't want you to walk in there and think that you have to watch a sports game or sit at the bar. It's going to be more of like a dine-in and experience, just almost like an urban type feel.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone's seen pictures, but it's going to be brick interior, nice dark color scheme.
Cool.
Big wood bar.
Yeah.
So it's just that old school, almost Chicago style, like old bar type feel.
Gotcha.
But it'll be friendly, family friendly as well.
Yeah, that was my question. So kids, come on in.
Kids can come on in and hang out, and the whole family can come enjoy.
Well, and it's interesting to me. I have a younger family. When we make the decision to, let's say, let's choose a meal, not for convenience. We're not running through peanut butter crackers that are already in the pantry or whatever, but hey, we're going to go and experience something. We know that comes with a price point. We know that's, we're going to be investing in our experience there, but it's nice to know that establishments, kind of respect and value that time and attention to being able to make something that we can enjoy together. And it's not just the pizza. It's the people, it's the space, it's, the music that's in the background, if there are TVs, things like that. My girls, they love to go into an establishment and, for one place, it might be the breadsticks, another place, it might be the little mint, things that they get or something, but those little aspects of experience, it's funny how people connect with those emotionally. And so, I know you're going to do a great job at that, all the small details, everything that I've heard about you and your planning process of getting this place open. I know it's going to be fantastic. Tell me a couple people who've had a really critical role in you getting to where you are today.
Definitely. I mean, there's definitely a few critical people that have helped me. Obviously I'll start with my wife and my dad who were in the kitchen every weekend with me, getting the pizzas prepared. We would take orders on Wednesday and prepare for the weekend. So Friday night is when we started the cooking.
You're grinding on. Yeah.
Exactly. So they would definitely help me throughout this whole process and were there for me. Also the admin of the Clarksville and surrounding food scene page, Miss Shirley Brown. I think without her, I don't think we would be where we're at today. Her page kind of just opened the floodgates to allow and she also just allowed us to use her page as a marketing place to allow us to grow. And being a home cook, I mean, some people would have shut that down. But she allowed it. She encouraged it. So she was a huge part of this success.
She's had such a, role in the success of food trucks. I think the food truck scene here has really grown exponentially. Those dinner with the trucks nights, down there near Riverside area. I think what a lot of people don't know is the cost and time and dollars and energy and just organizational efforts it takes to put those on. That's not by accident.
No, you're right.
And she's doing that, just out of wanting to help people along the way, like yourself or other food trucks who are just getting established. And man, what a great event it is for family fun. It's a great space. It's a good location, kind of central to a lot of things in town. You can enjoy the river walk afterwards. My family's been down there, and like you said, that group's got a lot of value. Definitely. And I think, her attention to keeping things as positive as possible and not letting some of that vitriol and just, hey, let me post about this awful whatever, that stuff's kind of stopped. And
right. No, she does a fantastic
real positive
job.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
Cool. Another guy's been helping you out, Grant.
Yes. I mean, Grant Duffman with Performance Food Group, he has been amazing as well.
I call him Clarksville's drug dealer.
Do you? I mean,
because he's like behind the scenes on every. I don't know what his title would be if he was in like a food mafia, but he's definitely a boss. I think we could tell him he's a boss, right? Definitely. It would totally go to his head. So if he's listening, he'll probably pick up on that. But yeah, he's a boss of the food mafia for sure.
No, he definitely is, and he was definitely a guiding hand. He's been there since last July with me, holding my hand through this whole process. So to have people like that aren't just expecting a dollar or a paycheck from you, that they really are truly there to help you and want you to grow and succeed, that's just amazing. So Grant and Shirley both.
Yeah, and I'm sure Grant's experience of working with so many of the locally owned restaurants. And I don't know how many of these big commercial accounts he has, but when I talk to him or when I see him try to promote people, it usually is this family kind of owned one location type business. And the experience that he brings to that, knowing how to, evaluate your cost, evaluate your pricing, making sure that you're keeping up with things so that you can continue to serve the community. You can continue to pay your employees. You can continue to pay your rent, because otherwise we don't know, exactly. Like people who are operating business, we don't know, just trying to keep things as cheap as possible. Well, we can't do that anymore because, supplies are through the roof, materials are through the roof. And with that just comes cost. And, to experience the best pizza that Clarksville is going to have, right? It just comes at a price point. You'd be willing to invest in that. So I'm sure Grant's helped a ton. He's had a huge hand in so many new restaurants that are opening up and still to come. And I know that, he's adding a lot of value. He's a funny guy, and but we'll call him the food boss for now. Is there one thing about Camacho's famous pizza that you feel like is just unique? Like, this is what makes it awesome? Well,
to be honest with you, I think it's two things. It's our dough and our sauce.
Yeah, okay.
Both are homemade with our own recipes. It will be made in store. So that is what makes our pizza stand out from anyone else.
That's cool.
Definitely.
Yeah, because it is so many people make pizzas, so many people make coffee, so many people make burgers. But it's like, of a burger, it's the bun, it's where does the meat come from, it's kind of presentation. For pizza, it's all about the dough and all about the sauce.
Exactly.
That's awesome. So, funny story, I'll share it for you. I just recently had a birthday, and I was joking around with Grant, who we just mentioned, and I never won the lottery. I tried a couple times, never won it. I actually sent you a message one time after you got shut down. I was like, hey, I won't tell anybody this, but like, I'd love to have some pizzas for the Final Four. Like, you want to hook me up? And that didn't work out. So when it was my birthday was coming around, they were kind of joking, like, what do you want? And I was like, what's one thing that I can say that, I don't want anybody to actually have to invest in my birthday, whatever.
Right.
37 years old. It's no big deal. Right. But I was like, let me name something that's just totally off the wall. I was like, you can get one of the Camacho's pizzas. He was like, maybe I can make that happen or whatever. Well, sure enough, like, you had just had your ovens installed. You needed a test run. You needed to see how this stuff was going. And so I got to experience one. And I will tell you, and the listeners, anybody that's listening right now, that pepperoni pizza is the most unique thing that you will experience here. It is fantastic to be the first one that came through those ovens, and to still have the presentation, the taste, the quality was absolutely fantastic. So thanks for making that happen.
Well,
we didn't even know each other at that time. But so I've got a little badge of honor. I feel like I tasted the first one that went through those ovens.
Definitely. That was the first one.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was Grant asked me to do it, and I was like, for Grant, I'll do it.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. And I'm with new equipment, you kind of got to try stuff out, make sure it's actually working, because the last thing you want to do is roll 200 people into your restaurant and then you figure out, this is not how I thought it was going to go.
Yeah, that'd be terrible.
So if you're saying to people who are listening now, and I'm sure, we'll post this into the food group and a lot of people will want to hear your story. What's the best way they can help you as your business is opening?
I would say the best way they could help would obviously be to just come out and support, try our pizza. Even if you've tried the pizza from the house and it wasn't your style and maybe it wasn't the best, just try us again. Obviously from a commercial oven, it's going to be a little bit better. So that's definitely one way to help. Another way to help, like we kind of touched on earlier, if you don't like the pizza, you don't like the food, obviously that's totally fine. And not everyone's going to like everything, but shoot us a message, let us know maybe why you didn't like it. So that way we can get better and grow. Because if everyone just messages us, this is the best, we'll never get better.
Yeah. Right.
So
that's awesome.
Those are the ways you can.
What are you expecting as far as volume? Do you have any expectations?
Well, I expect that we'll be pretty busy, probably at capacity for probably maybe the first week or two. Yeah. So it just maybe give us a little, give us some time to work those kinks out in the beginning, especially because I think we will be pretty busy.
Yeah.
Especially
and I would say that's one thing that I would hope people would give you is the benefit of the doubt, some extra grace. Mm-hmm. If you roll in at 8 p.m. on a Saturday, they might be out, at least for the first week or so, because, we need to sell them out. So go, don't have a hesitation on it, but, don't be upset if you're succeeding so much that you didn't necessarily get everything that you wanted.
Right.
But I think you're going to absolutely knock it out of the park. I'm super excited for you. I posted a picture of me with that pizza, and I bet I've had 20 people who had no idea who you were, for the record, which I thought was crazy. Like, where is this opening? When is it coming? That pizza looks amazing. So I think as you promote yourself more and get that marketing going, you're going to be super successful. We're going to be really excited for you. So we're going to transition to the lightning round. Okay. So I've not really prepped you for these questions, so they're kind of off the cuff here.
Okay, let's go.
All right, you can make a pizza for any two people, and you get to pick their brain while they're dining in your restaurant about business, personal development, success. Any two people, who do you think you would choose? They don't have to be local.
Wow, that's a really good question.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, wow. That's a.
I know.
Okay, well, let's just go with. There's not really. I would love to be maybe sit down with someone who just knows Chicago style pizza, but I don't really know
who is off the top of your head.
Yeah, off the top of my. Maybe I would love to sit down with Anthony Rizzo from the Chicago New York Yankees now.
Yeah.
But he was a Cub, one of my favorite Cubs of all time. I would love to sit down with him, just talk.
Right.
Talk baseball.
I mean, his success, obviously he's a fantastic baseball player, but a lot of his success is off the field too.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
And these guys are not dummies.
Right.
Like, they make smart business decisions for themselves.
They do.
And so, yeah, that would be really cool. Well, that actually, takes me to my next question. So I've heard you're a Cubs fan.
Definitely.
Right?
Yes.
All right. So give me your 3 all-time favorite Cubs.
Number 1 is Sammy Sosa.
Really?
Yes. I'm not sure why so many Cubs fans don't like him anymore. But Sammy's my number 1.
That's awesome.
Number 2,
21, right field,
number 21,
man.
Yep.
What a great run he had. Obviously, it came with some drama, but
it did.
Legendary run.
Legendary.
Yeah.
Legendary.
So how old were you in 98?
98, I was 6 years old.
6 years. Do you remember it?
I remember it.
Do you?
I remember
Wow.
it. And I mean, I think that's like my first taste of getting Cubs baseball. And that's probably what really made me love the Cubs so much, is just seeing Sammy and Mark McGwire go at it, and then just growing up, and then almost seeing them go to the World Series in 2003, I think it was, when against the Marlins. They lost that game, but man, yeah, that's.
I remember the 2003 game too. Yeah. I remember where I was. I'm not a Cubs fan, but I think people who are randomly baseball fans, you kind of latch onto the Cubs. They've got that brand. All right, so Sammy's number 1.
Rizzo's number 2.
Okay.
And then for number 3, I guess Moises Alou. Moises Alou was back in those days too with Sammy,
classic.
And he's one of those players that I'll always remember with the no gloves.
That's right. Yeah, no gloves. That's right. He was so smooth.
He was.
It's like he didn't overpower you like Sammy Sosa did, but his game was just smooth. He kind of looked so graceful and doing everything that he did.
Exactly.
And I guess he played left field when he was the one that went over the railing in whatever game that was in 2003. Was that the year?
Yes, it was.
Okay, yeah. I remember that.
Screamed at Bartman, yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. For Cubs fans, I'm sure it's bad memories, but you eventually came out of that hole and won the World Series.
Won the World Series, yeah.
What's the most expensive piece of equipment in your store?
The most expensive piece, I would say, would be our oven. A double-deck gas oven that they use in Chicago. It's got the stones, and we got 2 of them. So
wow,
that's probably our most expensive. Probably followed by our mixer.
Okay,
mixer. Both those items are just big and heavy and the heart of your kitchen, pretty much. Those are the most expensive.
So was it a hassle trying to get them installed?
Well, the ovens were definitely a hassle because they came sideways and you have to get them back up, and they're probably, I don't know, maybe 1,000 pounds each.
Are you serious?
So we had to get special lift and turn it, and it was just a project.
That's interesting.
The dough mixer.
Did it fit through the door?
I think it fit through the door. Yeah, dough mixer fit through the door. I think at least, but it was just heavy to move.
Yeah.
But I mean, we had it on a roller, and it just it's in place now.
That's awesome. Yeah, those things that we don't think about.
Exactly. No, you don't think about this kind of things.
And it's, you just order. Here comes the pizza in a box, or on the tray or whatever. All right, I know you didn't grow up in Chicago. You maybe not spend a lot of time there, but you're serving Chicago-style pizza. Mm-hmm. Let's say a Clarksvillian goes to Clarksville first time, never been there before. Where are you telling them to go eat pizza?
Well, Giordano's is the go-to. Some people like Little Malnati's. I think they're the original. But Giordano's is probably resemble our style a little bit more.
Gotcha.
And that's what I'd recommend.
Yeah.
Definitely. Just go stop by and see them when you're out there.
Well, that's cool. I've got a friend who orders these like frozen Giordano's pizzas, and I told him, I was like, you won't have to do that much longer, man.
Exactly.
It's coming right down the road. Yeah,
exactly.
That's gonna be exciting. Well, man, Andrew, it's been a just awesome time getting to talk to you, hear your story. I'm really most fascinated with that story that was just off the cuff. You said when you first did it, you tried to sell them out of your driveway and it was a bust.
It was a bust.
And then here you are now, internet, social media sensation later, the pizza lottery guy, coming up with a unique pizza to Clarksville that really nobody else is doing. A long journey of getting to this Camacho's famous brick and mortar restaurant, you know, in honor of your dad who's going to be there, you know, head chef. I mean, what a great story. What a great, you know, opportunity that you saw in this town. You decided to invest in it. So thank you for doing that. I know that this area of town, this city is going to be blessed by your hard work and your skill and your talent for a long time. So
awesome. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing the story. So if you're watching, you know, are hungry, which you have to be, you have to, you know, go ahead, Google it right now after you leave us a review on the episode or whatever it may be. Google it, find out how to order some pizza. Now that we are releasing this episode, I'm pretty sure that we're going to be open or just about to open. So make sure you go and find him on all the social channels. Go ahead and follow everything that he does. Leave him a couple Google reviews. That's a great way to help a brand new business really boost their reviews so that people can hear about their message. And that's a way that you can help us too. So anyway, you can leave us a review, engage with us on any of our social channels here at Clarksville Vibe. We would really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thanks for making it to the end of the episode. Go ahead and share this episode with somebody right now who you feel like needs to experience Clarksville's newest, most unique pizza experience. So share it with somebody, tell them you pay for their meal, and then maybe they'll return the favor and pay for you back. But hey, I'm Kevin Kennedy. Thanks so much for joining our episode. We'll see you next time. New episodes releasing every Friday.